What's going on, guys? Venomousfatman here, and I got a brand new segment of The Verdict for you. This time I'm talking about the series finale to Smallville, the big 2 hour series finale that debuted last night. How did this thing actually hold up? Was this the big send-off that the series that's been around for 10 years really so thoroughly deserved? Here's my opinions on the whole matter. Let's go down the list. Number one, it was awesome to see Michael Rosenbaum. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Michael Rosenbaum, the guy who played Lex Luthor for about a good 7 to 8 seasons of the series, finally back into his star role. He was awesome. It was great to finally see him back and pretty much going through the whole motions with him and Clark. Now, to be honest with you, it was kind of a little bit cheesy the way they brought him back, but, he was pretty much demanded to be back on the show by so many people that watch it that, he was Lex Luthor. He really made that show what it was, besides Tom Welling. He really played the part of Lex Luthor so well that it was finally good to finally have him back in there doing his thing. Now, one of the things I did like, though, that he was doing, because he was, accepting his destiny and kind of moving forward with his character and stuff, it was cool to see that he finally killed Tess Mercer, which nobody saw coming at all, and it was such a crazy-looking moment. But what was a little bit annoying, and I have to admit, I can understand why they did this, but it was a little bit annoying, was that Tess actually put some sort of poison on him that made him forget everything before that moment, pretty much, where pretty much he doesn't know any more about Clark's secret, even though he was kind of brought back to life with the same memories and stuff. He forgets about Clark's secret, so it pretty much wipes the slate clean. So he's the Lex Luthor that everybody knows from pretty much the comics and the movies and stuff. So, but he doesn't know Clark's secret identity. It was kind of like a half-assed way to kind of get rid of that whole thing in the Smallville universe, because the way that Michael Rosenbaum went out in the last a couple seasons ago. But it's okay. He pretty much is Lex Luthor at that point. But moving on, let's talk about the big meat and potatoes of the whole thing. Clark. Does everything that happened with Clark pretty much, meet up to the expectations of everybody out there that's a Smallville fan, including mine? So here's my thing about Clark. Overall, the series finale, about his story where him finally becoming Superman, mind you, spoilers alert, if you haven't already seen the episode, it's probably on the internet now. If you want to see it, go watch it, but spoiler alert for all those who haven't seen it. I feel like the series finale for this was a really big cop-out. It did not give the series a kind of, a good, nice send-off that it so thoroughly deserved, to be honest with you. There was a lot of good moments. There was a point in time during the whole 2 hours where I was like, oh my God, Smallville is getting fantastic right now. There's so much stuff happening. Things are going down. The ending is going to be epic and stuff. And then by the time it actually got to the last, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes of the actual series finale, I was like, what the hell just happened? They completely dropped the ball. I felt like, even though they kind of did meet to the kind of like the point where they wanted to get at with the series, or what they had to meet, to end it off, but I felt like it could have been so much better. And I think it was due to a couple of reasons. Number one, the budget. The budget, when it comes to a TV series or when it comes to a movie, will really kill you, to be honest with you. It pretty much dictates whether you can or cannot do something. And I think that, because of the CG effects that they had spent so much on, there was a whole, I want to say almost 10 to 15 minutes, of just, recaps or flashbacks of all the different events that Clark had gone through, throughout the entire series' history. I understand why they did it, but it could have been a lot shorter, and more focus could have been put on actual Clark and, him being Superman, towards the end of the actual episode. That's one. Number two, I think it also has to do with a little bit of licensing issues, the rights to actually use certain things or do certain things within this series finale. Because if you guys notice, a lot of the Justice League characters, or the JLA characters that they had, or the DC Universe characters, I should say, that they've had throughout the series, they did not have coming back for the series finale. You never saw Cyborg. I know we saw Arthur Curry earlier in the season, but it would have been nice to see him. I know we had Oliver Queen. We had Chloe, and by the way, I just have to mention, Chloe had her big send-off, a couple episodes earlier in the season. The way they kind of, had her thrown in there towards the end of the actual episode, I thought had served no purpose. It was a completely WTF type of moment. Like, why is she even in there? In my opinion, since Chloe Sullivan isn't really a character that people know about the DC Universe, know within the DC Universe, I should say, and she pretty much, was a character created for the show. If they really wanted to kind of, match up, point for point with the actual mythology of Superman, I would have wanted to see her character die, not because she's a bad character, but because, it would have, one, given her a better send-off, in all honesty, and two, it would have really give Clark a reason to kind of, take flight, to really accept his destiny and really awaken his powers, so to say. Because that whole going through into the mind thing with Clark, I thought was a little bit stupid with the whole flashbacks and stuff. It could have been a lot shorter than it was. But the thing with Chloe just being shoehorned in here, and then they kind of, hint at the fact that maybe that's Oliver Queen's son. To be honest with you, in the not in the Smallville, but in the DC universe, he doesn't kind of, shack up with anybody named Chloe Sullivan. He actually shacks up with Black Canary when he actually joins up with the Justice League. But I just thought that was just thrown in there. It served no purpose, kind of, random, in all honesty. But let's get to the main point at hand, and really the thing that really kind of set me off about this series finale. It was cool when he finally put on the suit and he was taking flight. I was like, yes, Smallville's going to do it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to see Tom Welling in the suit. Here's what happened. They have him flying around, and they kind of do shots where it's kind of implied that he has the suit on, but they never once actually show Tom Welling with a full body shot with the actual Superman suit on. At the end, he does run towards the camera and just kind of pulls open his shirt, and then you see the Superman logo there, the Superman Returns logo, mind you, for people that don't know. They never show him in a full body shot with the actual suit. They never close up on him. I have a kind of like strong feeling that was due to licensing issues or to rights issues or something that the studio told them that they could not do, which sucks because it would have been awesome to see that. But the CG Superman, while it did serve its purpose, it would have been awesome to see him in more action, because the whole thing with Darkseid for the entire episode was major, was epic. The world was going to go to crap at that point. But as soon as he pretty much flies in, he pretty much pushes the planet away, I'm guessing, or pushes, I guess, away Apocalypse, because that's the kind of, feeling that I got, that big planet that was coming towards Earth was Apocalypse, or some type of a celestial body dealing with Darkseid and his homeworld of Apocalypse. But him pushing the planet out of the way was kind of like a big cop-out, because the ending could have been so much more epic if they would have gone rid of most of the fluff from earlier on in the episode, the flashbacks and all the other jazz that was going on there. The ending and pretty much the climax of the entire episode would have been awesome. But like I said, because of budget and because of probably rights and because of, the limitations of the TV show itself, we didn't get that. And it really sucks, for people that really waited on this and really wanted to see this show kind of go out with a bang. They went out decently, but it could have been so much more better, in all honesty. And to be honest with you also, I have to mention that final shot of Clark running towards the camera with the Superman logo, they could have made it a little bit much more epic. Like, he could have been, speeding up towards through the Daily Planet. I know they had the Superman theme song. That was cool. Okay, whatever. All Superman things are going to have that. But he should have been running. He should have been looked like, he was ready to just bust out, boom, it's Superman. But, the slow motion, the way it came off looked kind of like a little sluggish, looked kind of stupid and a little cheesy. They could have done a little bit more, to be honest with you, or at least show something where Superman actually comes. That's another thing I have to mention, guys. Okay, I know I'm kind of going off a little bit on a couple tangents, but this is actually really important. Number one, Lex Luthor, they show that little tidbit where he becomes president of the United States, I guess towards a nod towards the comic version of the character where he does eventually become president of the United States. That was interesting to see, because they've hinted at that many times throughout the series. But to be honest with you, they did not once actually show Tom Welling come out to the public, it's Clark coming out to the public and actually being Superman, like that. Now, they do mention, they have the little dialogue between the guy that plays, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane, the girl. They pretty much have a little dialogue where they're pretty much in a world that, Superman is already there and stuff. But it would have been awesome to actually see him actually come out towards the public and be like, my name is Kal-El and stuff. And then we actually see Lois name him, and, everybody celebrates and stuff because, he finally became Superman. Something like that would have been made much more sense, rather than just the comic book, look and pretty much the lead into the Daily Planet, that whole thing. Could have been a lot better. That's the main thing that you guys have to get out of this. It could have been a lot better. Could have really went out with a much more bigger bang than what the writers had already given them. But anyway, I digress between all that. Everybody has their own opinions. That's just my opinion on the whole series finale as a whole. Leave your comments and video responses, guys. I don't mind. Just keep it civil. Let me know what you guys thought of this series finale. I know a lot of people say that Smallville sucks, but for those who have actually given the show a chance, because the show is not downright bad, as a lot of people make it out to be, but put it in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think of this, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Venomousfatman's out. This has been The Verdict. I'll talk to you all later.